Hey everybody, we are back at the whiteboard. This week we are going to talk about something that does not get talked about enough. We're going to talk about numbers playing tricks and different ways that numbers can be manipulated to make what should be a bad deal look like a good deal, or what should be a great deal look potentially worse. So let's start with a simple example. In price and promotions, there's this thing called the rule of 100. If the price is less than $100, you should use a percent off discount in most cases. And if the price is over $100, you should use a dollar discount. So let me show you an example here with a simple 2x2 matrix. Right, we've got on this column a $20 widget, this column a $250 widget. What it is doesn't really matter. But what I want to show you is if you offered people for this $20 widget, save $5 or save 25% off, most people, if given the choice, will take the $25 off. That feels like a bigger discount because 25 is bigger than 5, and most people are terrible at math. Conversely, go on over to the $250 widget. If you offer somebody $62.50 off or 25% off, they will take the $62.50. It's the same value. There's really no difference here. It's exactly the same. That actually should be $61.25. That's our mistake. The point stands. But, right, what you see here is just people being a little bit irrational and people being bad at math. So they take the bigger number. But let's go over here, right? This isn't just about people. This is about companies too, because companies are made up of people. So recently, I was talking to an e-com brand owner. He's got a nice, growing, healthy business. It's an e-commerce brand. It's doing about $200,000 a month in revenue. He is growing about 20% month over month. So they're on pace to do, about $3 million this year total, because again, he's lower than 200 grand before. He's going to be higher through the end of the year, assuming that growth. So, again, great guy, growing about 20% month over month. He's got some healthy margins. So his COGS plus his variable costs about 32%, and it's falling as he scales. So not only is the business growing, but the costs of goods sold are going lower as he can place larger and larger inventory orders. His ROAS in the ad account was pretty healthy, about 4.9, and his AOV is about $200. So this is a pretty healthy, growing business with a pretty significant customer base, but he's inventory constrained. Needs to get more inventory so he can continue to grow, because remember, he wants to push this cost of goods sold down, so he needs to place bigger inventory orders, which requires more cash than what he currently has or is generating through the business. So he went to an e-com advance lender, Clearco, Parker, etc., right? One of those. We're not going to name names, but it's one of those. And he got terms that look pretty much like this. I did slightly tweak those just, again, for the case of anonymity and to make sure everybody's protected. But the substantive point here remains exactly the same. $100,000 line, that's correct. 16% fee, that's well within Clearbank and Parker and all the other ones rate. A 15% remittance, which means that 15% of every sale goes and is used to pay back the advance amount until it's paid off, and a 16-week term, which is basically how long your payments are going to be broken out over. So what you end up with here is what looks like a decent deal. If you're a business owner, you're like, oh, I'm only paying 16% on my money. Well, are you? Because let's actually take his base scenario here, $200,000 a month in revenue, 20% month over month growth. Let's go over here and whiteboard it out. Month one, he's $200,000, 15%. He's going to pay $30,000 towards this advance. Month two, he's actually a $240,000 business. He's grown 20%. Again, he might grow more. It's the holiday season. I haven't talked to him since BFCM, so it could actually be more. But he's going to pay 15% of that, $36,000. Month three, $288,000, 15%, $43,000. And then month four, he's going to end up paying about $6,800 in the first week. Obviously, the 15% would be $51,840. So if he grew faster, there's that. There is a cap on the weekly repayment, but again, you can get the idea here that it is capped at, you get the idea. So he is on track to pay this back much faster, number one. But number two, if you actually plug this in and you look at the approximate interest rate, it's actually 67% per year. But Clearbank gets away with that, or Parker gets away with that, or Shop Capital or Amazon Capital or whoever you're using gets away with that because they say, oh, it's only a 16% fee. And that's true. It is only a 16% fee. But because of the payment structure, because a portion of your money, every sale is going back, rapidly growing brands are actually penalized more because more of their money is outlaid to pay back this loan faster and faster and faster, which effectively makes the rate go up. The fee remains the same. The fact that the payments get accelerated due to growth makes the effective rate go up. Now, when I was talking to this person and we started to talk through this, I asked him, well, don't you have a business credit card? And he said, of course we have a business credit card. We've got, American Express or Capital One or, one of these banks. And, we have a pretty healthy line of credit, $250,000, but it's really expensive money. It's at 29% and some change. So he said, I'm getting a 16% fee and they're going to charge me 29%. And this is where, being a nice person, I was like, well, you do know that you're comparing apples to sheep, right? And this is an otherwise successful, smart, dedicated, driven, wants to do the right thing, but never actually sat down and said, let me do the math on this. He looked at a 16% fee versus a 29% fee and said, I'm getting a better deal up here. When in reality, he was not comparing apples to apples. So the credit card, he was going to pay 29.2%. But remember, based on this, if he just used this same repayment schedule, he could actually pay it back in 3 months just by taking the same 15% of sales and paying off the credit card balance that he would do. So he would end up with 29.2%, give or take. We call that 30. We divide that by 12 to get your monthly rate. The monthly rate's 2.5% per month, which means he would actually have gotten away with roughly 3 months. He would have gotten away paying 6% just by using the credit card and paying it off in this same installment, which would have saved somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000. Again, back of the napkin math, or in this case, whiteboard math. But you can see here how the same principle of obscuring numbers and making people do math and changing terms that over here resulted in a business owner potentially taking a loan that was $10,000 more expensive, more than double the cost of a credit card, right? It makes loan sharks look like Boy Scouts. Same principle that applies here as here. Is it a little bit more complicated over here? Yes. Is the fact that he has to think about things like COGS and margin and how much cash he has available and buy inventory, is that a little bit more complicated than me getting $10 or $20 or $60 off a widget? Yes. But the same principle here applies. If you change terms, if you obscure value, if you force people to do math and to convert things, you can trick them into doing things that are against their interest. The solution to this is always to put everything into the same units. That's where he went wrong here. That's where customers go wrong here, right? If you are talking in dollars and cents, always convert the percent discount to $1 so you can compare like to like. Over here in interest rates, the term should be APR, right? Your percentage rate per year. And there are lots of great calculators. Finaloop is a wonderful company that publishes a calculator. I have no stake in them other than I think it's great that they've made this and put it out there so that you can actually turn one of these offers into an actual dollar amount. An actual APR amount. And then you can compare dollars to dollars, cents to cents, percentages to percentages and come up with the right number. But anytime you start to see terms like this, or you start to see units being switched, that should be your trick as a business owner, as a marketer, as an investor, whatever it is, to say, no, wait. We're going to get standard units and we're going to compare apples to apples. So the next time, if you're an e-com brand owner, hopefully this is helpful. If you're any business owner and you see loan terms like a fixed fee or a term or a remittance percentage or any of these terms, you should immediately, hopefully, remember this video and say, you know what, we're gonna come up with an APR, and we're gonna see, is what you're offering me here really that much better, or is it significantly worse than a credit card or some other kind of debt? I hope that's helpful. I know, for some people in the e-com space, this might save you $5, $10, $15, $20,000. So I hope it does. But even if you are not in that space, this is a really good habit to get yourself into. Anytime you see different units, convert it to a standard unit and compare. It can save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of headache. Until then, I'll see you next week. And don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter if you do not. We've got some more really exciting content coming up later this week.